So now let's start the run. Because the run starts with a 1.5-minute cutscene that you unfortunately can skip. I did notice that at the moment you input the save creation, you have a small sound of an input being done. So like you can have a jump happen at this time. So it means MIO is actionable, but I don't know if it's actually something that you can use to skip this part. I don't know. But for now, as of right now, we don't know how to skip this part. So we'll just go over it. I'm just checking if everything regarding the recording is right. Just tell me if the music is not too loud, if the game sound is not too loud. Because I'm about to do this in one go. So if you have any question, feel free to ask the question in the chat now. But I'll try to answer as best as I can. Also, there might be some surprise paint screens for me to explain some strats, because I'm about to go more in detail of the movement. So as movement options will appear, I'll try to explain them. So for now, we only have access to our default movement, which is going left and right, jumping and double jumping. MIO has a universal system which is called double jump refresh on hit. So every time when you hit, have this 3-hit combo. Every time you hit any attack, you will regain your double jump. So it's preferable to always use your double jump so that if you hit something, you can just double jump out of it every time. So about walking and jumping on purely horizontal surface is about the same speed. I tend to prefer to do bunny hops like this because of something I'll explain later. But if you, for now, you can just move as you like. Something is that when you have a ledge like this, you can just jump onto it, obviously. But if you, okay, let's do our first paint moment. If you clip into the ledge at around this height, you will do a roll and arrive right here on the platform. This gives you a small speed boost, which is actually a good way to gain some speed. So for example, if I just do this, it's still less, it's still a bit slower from this. So it's a more risky thing, but it can add up a lot when you only have that. For example, here, you can try to do that. Also, I've noticed that if you jump out of it, you seem to have a small speed boost. This game is going to be a lot about speed boosts and optimization. So here, you have two ways. You can either go this way, like the usual way, or you can go from here, do a 1, 2, 3 hit combo, and then double jump out of it, and you'll end up here. So you can go this way, or it saves a bit of time, but here, I just want this guy to be as exhausted as possible. And then it's just regular going up. This section, I think the first section is going to be mostly around the beginning until the first save, or maybe I guess. Maybe I guess until we have grapple that opens a lot. Okay, so now we're in the game. So first you need to go left. There is a small panning of the camera. You can have those two ledge rolls here. And then it's just some movement. There's an enemy here. About enemies in this game, every enemy placement is going to be random. So you have to know the different possibilities that the enemies can be in and react to them whenever it happens to run. So that is something that can be really tricky when you're in a full run. But overall, this will challenge your adaptability and your overall knowledge of the game. Here we have the first occurrence of a ceiling boost. There are two types of boost. There are ceiling boost and slope boost. For example, here, the rule of thumb for ceiling boost is that when you have a ceiling like this ceiling here has a collision that is about like this. So if your full jump is going to be reaching supposedly this height, well, the game is going to eject you this way when you are going to jump and trying to go towards it. So by doing that, you'll gain some speed. The speed you gain from your jump is going to be added up as a horizontal speed. So you need to know a bit how the ceilings can work to your advantage when going through the game. So here you have a ceiling that you can use. You can watch speedrun of the demo for that. And as you can see, this added a lot of speed. Unfortunately, this is a very minor one that can use, but this allows me to explain how the ceiling boost works and how we're going to use that even further into the run. Here we have our first discharge. This is going to be the only one in the run. Discharges can happen if you have more than 2 HP. Most of the discharge won't happen when you have 2 HP or less. They remove 1 max HP from you, and they lower the health of everything. NPCs, enemies, bosses, everything has its HP that is lowered. So you need to be careful about that, and especially I think in longer categories like all bosses and everything, discharge are going to be something. So now you can go right here, and I'm going to talk about the second type of boost, which is slope boosting. So here we have a slope. Slopes work in a very particular way. Is that, for example, here this slope is like, wait a minute, this slope is like this. And how slope boosting works is that if you fall with more than your regular height jump, you will have some speed that will accumulate for your fall. And when you land, if you jump at the frame or about the frame you land, it's kind of generous, but it's kind of weird. Also, the spot you land on the slope tends to vary a bit. But if you are able to land with enough speed on a slope and jump out of it, you will transfer your speed to a horizontal boost that will allow you to. So this one here is kind of difficult to do, so I might miss it, but we will be using that, and I will try to indicate as much as I can all the slopes I've identified. But most, you need to think that every time there is a downward slope, you might be able to use it as a slope opportunity. Yeah, for example here, let me try to have it. I think you need to jump a bit earlier than that. Yeah, I think if you see this regular jump here, I think yeah, this one is very difficult to have, but we're going to have more slope boost opportunities. And then here is just regular movement, so I'll try to have the movement as clear as I can. And here we're going to have our first save. And I think this is enough for the first section because I've already explained much things.